Je suis un homme noir et je viens de l'Afrique. Ce continent noir est si magnifique, aux sources de mon être, toi mon Afrique. Afrique lointaine de nos ancêtres avait une vie propre à eux, mais l'arrivée des Blancs a complètement tout bouleversé, ce qui causa des tensions suivies des milliers de morts. Des années sont passées, affectées par le souvenir est né le racisme. Exemple, en Amérique, là-bas où la balance judiciaire prend du poids du côté des Blancs par rapport du côté des Noirs. Yup, en Europe, on nous insulte, on nous méprise, inférieur et le noir supérieur et le blanc inférieur et le noir supérieur et le blanc. The only thing we wanted for our country was the right to a decent existence, to independence without restriction, to dignity without hypocrisy. The day will come when history will have its say. Patrice Lumumba. They call me Afro Blues by way of Congo. I said they call me Afro Blues by way of Congo. Back home, I didn't even know America was home to all kinds of people. Like I didn't even know who were Latinos. The first time I met one, she was from Puerto Rico. I didn't know Spanish, but all I knew was, mira, que pasa lo siento. She laughed so hard and said, Papi, you are so local. I'm like, nah, mommy, once you go Congo, you can never go local. And she asked, so you from Africa, right? I'm like, yeah, you too, because Puerto Rico is part of the African diaspora. You see, during slavery, the slave boat dropped Africans all over the globe, so that makes you a descendant of the Mandingo queen. So beautiful. So can we all break bread? Because I want to be somebody's African friend. And black women, I want to be your African friend. And I don't know if you can tell, but they call me African Denzel. But if I'm out the club trying to holler at you, it's not because I want to marry you to get a green card. I know you heard that African men carry big things because you love some size, but that's not what's on my mind. But rather, I want to take you out to an African festival so we can tap into our African heritage and build into a collective success. Collective success. And regardless of our geographical locations and cultural differences, the same message is global. That being black is beautiful. Peace.
So welcome back to this new edition of Komala's interview. I'm Reti Lubala, and today we have Leonard Tshitenge with us. And Leonard, thank you very much for your time. But before we start, I'll let you introduce yourself. Just tell us a bit about yourself, what you do, and what people know you for.
Sure. Thank you for having me, first of all. Yeah, my name is Leonard Tshitenge. Originally from the Democratic Republic of Congo. I'm a Boston-based Congolese-American poet, social entrepreneur, community organizer, and the co-founder of Progressive African Network. So, I'm from the diaspora, DRC.
Yeah.
Both in that, Banya Congo,
So as father, poet, social entrepreneur, and activist, how do you do? What is your motivation? Is that a superpower? How do you do it to do all these things at the same time?
I know, right? That's like Superman. It's always the questions like, you do a lot of the things and, I wear many hats. How do I do it? I mean, it's always a motivation behind me. Okay. I feel like the spirits, I don't know, from God or the ancestors, because I'm always tuned into African heritage and history, look at all the historical figure and inspired by them. So that keep me motivated. Okay. And I just happen to juggle many things at the same time. I know oftentimes it can be like, wow, you do so many things. But it did start with poetry. As a poet, a way to engage humanity, share my story, and then build up to become a community organizer, social entrepreneur, wear a different hat, and try to have that balance.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is it not too hard to make sure that you deliver every single thing in every single responsibility that you have?
The key here, I think, because I also do clinical work, the key is to take a break and focus on self-care and also learn how to say no.
Okay.
What do I mean by that? Is like oftentimes people can see that, you have the ability to deliver different services, so they may want to ask you to do too much. Yeah. So I learned how to say no. I learned how to take care of myself. Okay. I learned how to prioritize. And it's hard because my passion gets me in trouble. Mm-hmm. So
what is the thing that you enjoy the most then?
Enjoy the most being a poet, because it started from there. Since I was in DRC when I was like 10, 11 in French, the fact that I used to just read a newspaper, grab a newspaper and just read and memorize it, So I started to really realize that it gave me a voice as a poet to engage humanity, to engage the African diaspora demographic, because that's my target. So that's what I enjoy really the most. And I started to learn that people was paying attention to what I was saying. And I say, sure, why not just being a poet?
Yeah, that's the thing, because I remember when I met you and when I heard you the first time,
Right.
you mentioned that you actually use your talent, your poetry, to act as advocate for
Yeah.
a certain cause. So how did that happen? What was the turning point that made you realize that you could use your talent to put it into a certain purpose?
Well, my key thing has always been that the gift that you have become the gift to Africa, become the gift to your respective country in Africa, become the gift to wherever you're from. The
Yeah.
gift that you have become the gift to humanity. So for me, it started like just doing poems, like love poems and stuff like that, in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
beginning. But what's interesting is that people was paying attention. And I think it was one of my mentor. He was actually a Catholic priest, way back. He's like, you have a voice. People do listen to you. So because I was passionate about humanity, passionate about what's going on in the Congo, passionate about social issue in the African diaspora world, I started to really focus my poetry solely on addressing the issue impacting my folks in the Congo, the African diaspora world outside of the continent. So my poetry became just focusing on giving a voice to those who don't have a voice,
Okay.
to my words, so
Yeah.
people will pay attention. And you just create awareness and you start to educate it to people. Because that's my message, man. The gift that you have, become the gift to humanity. You gifted, and we all are. So that's my message.
I like that. I really like that. But you mentioned Africa. So you've been living in America for a while,
Right.
but you lived as well in Africa.
Yeah, yeah.
So from your perspective, what is the thing that you would want to see happening on the African continent?
Yeah.
Or maybe in DRC specifically?
Yeah. Yes, I'm from the diaspora, right? Live in Africa, 20 years.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
sometimes you're trying to have that balance. You from the diaspora, you have experience living outside of the continent or the Congo
Yeah.
and back and forth. So I think for me, I want to see collective success.
Okay.
That's like that's the long-term goal. That's what I want to see, Long-term goal, collective success. Short-term goal is focusing on addressing the things that create the obstacles, because collective success means that we have to view things collectively. But oftentimes, I think we get caught up in the self-interest. We get
Exactly.
caught up on just doing our own thing.
Exactly.
And it's a global thing. It is not perfection. No systems are perfect, no people are perfect. But I think that collective success means that we need to be passionate about our heritage and our talent, especially in DRC. I mean, standing with Congo, man, it's the campaign that I'm involved in, just promoting DRC and where I'm from, because the Congo is connected to, video games, technology. We mineral-rich country. So
That's true.
we need to focus on collective success from a Congolese diaspora, and even in Congo. So collective success is really, I say success. That's what I mean. It's really what I want to see, man. Yeah.
So let me ask you that. If you had to go back in time, like 5 years in time, what would you have done differently in your life?
Woo, that's a good question. What have I done differently? Maybe trying to research more and find out more about pre-colonial Congo. I don't know.
Okay.
how.
So
Because-
what would be the purpose?
So
of-
it's like I grew up between Congo and Gabon. I also grew up in Gabon, right? It's like
Okay.
Gabon was like that, called Libreville, right? That's that place where I grew up around different African countries, different folks from different African communities,
Yeah.
that Francophone Africa. So I think me trying to really understanding the fact that, growing up in Congo, we learning Belgian French history, we're learning French.
That's true. Yeah.
And the private school is like in French, but the public school is in Lingala. So I'm saying to myself, I would love for me to go back and try to figure it out, like really go in a village, live in a village. I didn't get that experience growing up, but I was always in tune. Would love for me to interact more with that world,
Okay.
the forest, the village, jungle. I don't want to say to present that negative perception, but just that rural life.
Okay.
We're a
Yeah.
farming
I see what you
community
mean.
as
Yeah.
Congolese people, like live in that setting where the mines are, with the village people, where they're the one who are really wake up in the morning. The world wants the natural resources in the surrounding area. So I would love to go back in time and just interact with that, practice my Lingala, you know.
Yeah,
Boni,
yeah.
you know, Sangote, you know. Na lo ba
But you still
Lingala.
have your Lingala.
Yeah,
though.
na lo ba Lingala. Lingala
That's-
nga
that's
Zambia, you know.
perfect.
Beza Lingala yaba Americain, but tozo on se débrouille quoi.
Excellent, excellent. But looking then into the future, what would you see, for example, like for entrepreneurship?
Yeah.
How do you think entrepreneurship will develop into Africa or Congo?
Well, entrepreneurship these days, I think it's the biggest theme out there. And so
Yeah,
many
it is.
different
It
type of
is.
entrepreneurship. You have tech entrepreneurship. Really tap into the technology with the blessing, because technology is also a blessing and a curse, but tap into the blessing of the technology, tech entrepreneurship,
Yeah.
and use that form to build job, you know, to have job, you know. And then you have cultural entrepreneurship. Really tap into how you in tune with your heritage, regardless of where you're from, you know, and how to use the heritage to change the narrative, positive story, and turn it into a business.
And that plugs into what you're doing as a social
Social
entrepreneur.
exactly. Now, social entrepreneurship tied into the fact that I advocate for the oppressed.
Yeah.
That's the spoken word. For those who don't have a voice. Like, how do you communicate with folks? So if you look at social media and technology, it's a way of communicating. But the social entrepreneurship means that creating job, starting viewing the oppressed population as a human being, that they're also business people. And that's what's going on in Congo, especially in the eastern part of Congo. There's a lot of talent
That's true.
in
That's
Congo.
true. That's true.
We just have to now find a way to build them also, create an environment so they can also prosper, make some money and make some business, because the narrative in Congo needs to be changed. The women are the backbone of the entire eastern part of DRC.
So you agree with the statement that the women are not only the future of DRC, but the entire continent of Africa?
The young people and the women, but actually let me emphasize on the young people. Africa is still a young continent. You got to understand, but in the case in Congo, we're like 80 million. Half of that is young people. We need to really change the narrative on really creating an environment for leadership, youth leadership. Not so much political. I mean, you have to look at all aspects. But I think entrepreneurship, meaning that you travel to DRC, there's talent. They're entrepreneur.
True. That's
You
true.
just have to focus on social organizing, promoting social entrepreneurship and cultural events that's going to also generate business. Meaning, like, you know, we broke, man, we're struggling. And that's a global theme. So I think the social entrepreneurship culture event is one of those vehicles that can really prosper in Africa. I mean, the continent, so much talent. And even if when I say continent, I would even say civilization. We just got to go back into the roots, man.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly. Yeah.
you know, we got talent, man. We just have to now develop a system of solidarity and just fight the negativity. Get on a train, bring your talent. Let's do this for DRC, for Africa, and then I connect with the entire African diaspora world. So
True. But then, in terms of advice that you have ever received,
yeah,
what is the best one that you got so far?
the best one I got so far. Keep your passion. Your passion has more value than money. I mean, we all need money, right? We know money and everything is always connected to funding and money but it starts with here.
Okay.
This is a treasure, what's inside, the passion that you have for the diaspora. So for me, the message you always tell me like, wow, you're so passionate about Africa. You're so passionate about the Congo. You should be the president of Africa. You should be, I'm like, so people will see that passion in me, like I'm always a passionate guy. So there's always like, keep your passion, because not too many people have passion.
That's true.
So the message is just like, start with passion. If you want to serve in a particular demographic or do services, start with passion, and it will generate funding and money and all of that. You know, small steps. I mean, I know we all want money. We all struggling. We all entrepreneurs, struggling artists. But we need to have, because if I have the passion, you have the passion, it's going to be a win-win situation.
Exactly. So that's something that you would also transfer to youngsters that have a certain talent and want to link it to business and advocacy.
Exactly. But the first thing is like, have the passion, l'amour du prochain. You know, I'm into French right now. I have the passion of your own history. You need to be passionate about DRC. You need to know what's going on. You know, you need to tap into. If you don't know, that's fine. Once you're passionate about your own heritage and have that love, that's going to transform into a healing. We all need to heal. But start with passion. The young people, they have talent. Like right now in DRC, over Africa, they are passionate. But you want to structure that, because people just want to get out of poverty, man. People want job opportunity. But my thing is like, it's not meant for everyone to come into America.
That's very true.
You know,
Very true.
and I don't want to kind of go into Congo and say, hey, man, listen, man, America. No, I'm just saying like, listen, what is God's plan for you? You know, what is your passion? Have love for your country and for your heritage, and then just find a balance, but passion, passion, passion.
Exactly, exactly. So tell me, what are the next events that you
I know, right?
be organizing, or where we can find you? I've seen that you've been doing a lot of things lately. So I guess the most recent one would be this one, Friday, June 30th, right?
Yes.
So tell me a bit more about that one.
Yeah, Dara, you know, hey, I'm in Boston based, you know, Boston in terms of our first annual Boston African Entrepreneurship Expo. You know, hey,
Okay.
this is organized by Progressive African Network, which is us, me, and
Another
actually
hat that you have.
right, co-founder, social entrepreneur, me and another colleague, Ashim, by way of Somalia. It kind of started with four of us, but I think now the two of us, kind of just trying to really build this organization. So we having our first annual Boston African Entrepreneurship Expo. Why are we doing that? Because we want to be able to highlight the local African diaspora talent, you know, and it's specifically targeted to the struggling demographic, including myself. And what I mean by being a struggling entrepreneur and artist, how do we develop a system of solidarity? How do we come together? So the expo will consist of some breakout session, you know, great workshop, you know, marketing. You know, you got to know the marketing tool if you're going to be an entrepreneur, right?
True.
Finance, that's something everybody struggle with, but it's always you can do better at it as a business person, as a whoever, you know. And also, you know, how to become an entrepreneur. What are the steps? You know, if you have an idea, how do you develop that? So there'll be breakout session, African appetizer. I'll be the MC, master ceremony myself. You know, I'm always mistaken for Denzel, so it's like, you know, and it's from 3 p.m. to 8.
June 30th.
June 30th, and Cambridge, Hult University, right? Yeah.
Hult International Business School.
International Business School, yeah.
Cool.
And we also expecting some live international Skype from African entrepreneur, because for us, it's about developing a system of a global conversation, using social media, the technology to have a system of dialogue. So we have built partnership globally, us Penn, and they're willing to participate in the Skype session. So please come out. It's going to be awesome, free admission, free to the public.
Cool.
I might do some Congo dance, because you know, from Congo, we got to move the hips, man.
Exactly. So what are the other ones that you have coming up?
I know, right? Because I'm a man who wear many hats. Because I run a father program, do a lot of fatherhood initiative in the Boston area, specifically focusing on African American fathers, and even beyond. Fatherhood is a global thing, but I think that I got a couple of the flyer here. This is something we got going on Saturday, June 24th. We're in Boston, in Roxbury, at the Whittier Street Health Center.
Okay.
Just focusing on men's health. That's the global thing. That's everybody. And then there's a 3-on-3 basketball, Father's Day, because June is an important month. Father's Day is in June, but I think we need to be consistent all year long. Celebrating fatherhood, especially in the African diaspora. There's a 3-on-3 basketball tournament on Wednesday, June 14. And we have the Male Engagement Network. All that means is that men all about making connection, creating a safe space for us men too, as father, to come together and trying to address, issues that affect us as men and as father. It's whether you're African and so forth. Just the fatherhood initiative, and also
I believe there's the Boston Festival.
Yes, the Boston African Festival, the 7th annual. Where I'll also be the MC, just trying.
So when would that be?
That will be July 29 from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Greenway. You get off of State Street. Yeah, it's in Boston. And then we have also July 15 is the Miss Africa New England.
Oh yeah.
Worcester, Massachusetts. So the beauty pageant. So if you single, come through. You gonna watch it. I'm not. I gotta. My best friend and special lady from Congo is watching. So
perfect.
And then I think that's it. There's a lot of stuff going on within Boston. So I think that's the goal of me, positioning myself, trying to create that space environment where just to have all the different various events from the African diaspora and be like alive and like, yo, Boston is the place. We're here. We are connected. We just want to come together and to celebrate each other through all these cultural, social events and initiatives.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So, guys, I think you all got it. The main message of this interview was collective success.
Collective success,
Yeah,
yes.
and I believe there is an African proverb that says that when you cross a river in a crowd, a crocodile will not eat you. So keep that in mind, and guys, please feel free to share and like the interview if you liked it. Leonard, thank you very much for your time.
Merci
I really
beaucoup,
appreciate
merci.
it. It was excellent.
Thank you.
Thanks
Long
a
live
lot.
the Congo, DRC.
Well, thanks a lot, guys. See you in the next one. Shine collectively.